I am so excited about when I tell you I swatched this at the store and almost passed out. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you can't tell by the Christmas tree, my Christmas nails, we are doing holiday glam today for the very first time of the season. This video is going to be a little bit of a hybrid between holiday glam and first impressions. So some of the makeup I'll be using isn't necessarily new, but it's new to me. So I'm very excited to try it because all of the stuff I grabbed has been recommended to me by other people with like rave reviews. I think one product is like completely new. I haven't really heard much about it. So that being said, I don't really have the look together. We're going to kind of do it as we go. But I don't want to make you wait any longer because I'm so excited to get into it, so let's get started. To start things off, we are going to go in with concealer. I've never used this before. This is the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in the shade Pearl. So I've heard amazing things about this. I love a good concealer, so I'm so excited to get into this. We are going to start with our eyes today. I love to use concealer on the eyes just to start out. Gives us a really beautiful base for our eyeshadow. Okay, wow, I can already tell this has really beautiful coverage. It does not look heavy or cakey at all. So for eyeshadow today, we're going to be using the Morphe 35XO Natural Flirt eyeshadow palette. I have never used this. I don't really know when this came out. The reason I picked it up was because I don't have that many cool tone eyeshadow palettes, and I really wanted, wow, this is beautiful. I really wanted something with a combination of neutral transitions, some sparkles, you know, oh my god, right up my alley. Let's take a look here. Oh my god, that's amazing. I think we're gonna do more natural on the eyes so we can do our red lip. So we're not going to use that many of these colors, but I just want to try it out. So to start, I think we're going to go in with the color Body Language here. Just start running this through our crease. We took this on a Morphe M573, and now I'm taking a, where's my MAC? This is my 224. And we are just going to use that to blend out our edges here, make sure everything is nice and seamless. Now that we have our transition shades blended out, I kind of did make sure to blend it up and out a little bit just to give a little bit of lift to the eye. We're going to go in with barely any Make It Official. We're going to really pack on this outer lash line and barely up on the outer third of the eye. We don't want this to go too high at all. Okay, now that we have our two colors on the eye, we have our transition, we have a little bit of that depth, we're gonna go into the NARS Loose Pigment. So this, I am so excited about. When I tell you I swatched this at the store and almost passed out. This is in the shade Shock'em. It's definitely chunkier, which is why I wanted to start on the eye. It has a little bit of, I know it's gonna have fallout, but it'll be worth it. So this I'm going to take right on my finger. Wow, it's very loose texture. It's like kind of falls down as you get it started. I feel like that would only be a problem in the beginning. I'm actually going to touch the back of my hand just to get a little bit of the fallout on it. But I mean, it's stunning. It's a good idea to dip in it with your finger, kind of press it into the hand just to get the real loose flakes off. So then what's left on your finger is pretty on there solid, and then go ahead and press. And I'm actually going to take this almost all the way over on the lid, even on top of that darker color. I know normally we would leave it just in the center, but like I said, I wanted to put this everywhere because of the wet, glassy topper kind of effect this gives, and let those tones come through the glitter. I like it too because I feel like the more you work it with your finger, the more these kind of glitter specks crumble and get a little bit smaller. It doesn't end up being quite as chunky as it looks and is in the pan. It can be if you don't mess with it, but I feel like the more you work it into the lid, the more that glitter breaks up and kind of looks a little more fine rather than super chunky. I mean, okay, this is everything I wanted and more. That is beautiful. I'm being serious when I tell you I don't think I've ever had an eyeshadow like this that is a topper yet opaque-ish, but chunky yet smooth. It is unreal. It's definitely, it's not the easiest thing to work with. I mean, it might have a little bit of a learning curve, but it's worth it. This is like insane. I'm going back with just a pinched Morphe M433, and I'm just gonna kind of run in the crease here just to knock away any glitter that's too high or loose. Especially with the red lip, I don't want to do heavy liner or anything, so I think I'm just gonna pop on some mascara and lashes. Okay guys, now that we have our mascara and our eyelashes on, we're gonna move on to complexion. So before we move on to complexion, I just wanna go ahead and take a makeup wipe, and we're just gonna clean up under the eyes here any fallout, which we definitely had fallout from that NARS eyeshadow, and we're gonna use this just to clean up the edge of our eyeshadow here. A good trick if any glitter is not coming off even with a makeup wipe, I always like to take a clean spoolie and I'll run over any I see when it catches the light, and this kind of rakes it right off the skin. I also like to do this too if your glitter goes too high, and right here we actually had a little bump of our mascara, which this will go ahead and do the same thing and just kind of rub it away without messing up our shadow like a Q-tip will sometimes. So for foundation today, we're going to be using, I'm so excited about this, the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. So I've heard tons of amazing things about this. The packaging is beautiful. It comes in a beautiful glass bottle. I mean, and this is in the shade Santa Fe. So before we go in with that, I want to go in with primer. And because this is a little bit more of a hydrating, luminous foundation, I do want to do a bit of a mattifying kind of oil control primer, because I am a little bit combination in the nose. I tend to get a little bit oily. So we're going to go in with my favorite oil control primer. This is One Heck of a Blot from Soap and Glory. It's really beautiful. It almost feels like a lotion. There's not really too much of a silicone feeling to it, which I like, so it's definitely probably not going to clog the pores as much as a full silicone primer will. Oh my god, my nose is running, sorry, hold on. Okay, so now that our primer is applied, we're going to go in with our foundation. It claims to be medium to full coverage, blendable, natural finish, transfer resistant, sweat resistant, fade resistant, non-drying, paraben, alcohol, oil-free, fragrance-free, dermatologist tested, and non-comedogenic, meaning it's not going to break you out. A lot of claims. I've heard amazing things. Let's get to it. I think we're going to apply it with the Ulta Beauty Precision Foundation brush. I love this. The angle on this brush is like amazing for getting around the nose and the contours of the face. Let's take a little bit on the back of the hand. Deposit this around the face. So I'll tell you this, it is creamy, definitely great coverage. I do like to take a brush first, buff everything out, and then go over everything with my beauty blender when I'm done. That is half the face. I mean, it looks beautiful. You can see the difference compared to the redness and discoloration over here. Oh god. So now I'm just gonna take what is left on my hand, and we're gonna just press everything in. I always like to do this when I'm done because I think the damp beauty sponge just kind of marries everything to the skin. So before I do concealer, I'm just going to go ahead and do the Catrice Camouflage, come on, there we go, Camouflage Cream. This is my holy grail color corrector. I like to take a little bit on my ring finger and, or I'm sorry, my middle finger, and just press this right in the center here. This is my holy grail color corrector. It just hides any darkness, and then I feel like I can actually go in with less concealer than normal because I'm not covering as much. I mean, you can see the difference. This is with, this is without. It's unbelievable, and it doesn't crease. And it's Catrice, so I'm pretty sure it's like $4, so you can't go wrong. We're taking our Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. This is still in the shade Pearl. There is no cakiness. Wow, that's beautiful. The concealer is laying beautifully over the foundation. They definitely are working together, which is Not always the case. Okay, now that we have our foundation and concealer on, I am going to use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus translucent powder. I'm going to take a big fluffy brush. This is from BH Cosmetics. Great brush sets if you're just starting out and want to try something, get a good amount of brushes for a decent amount of money. And we're just going to go ahead and press the rest of that makeup in. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I tend to say we when I'm filming these videos, because before this, anytime I was doing anything instructional, I'm always in front of a group of people doing it in person. So I tend to say we, and it's funny when I'm doing it here because there's no we, it's just me, so I don't say I. I'm trying to get out of the habit of doing that, but it might take me a while. For bronzer, we're gonna start out with the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. It is a mouthful. This is definitely on the warm side, but I want to start out with a warmer bronzer. So I'm not being too precise with this because this is more to just add color into the skin rather than sculpt and contour. Okay, now that that powder is just kind of deposited all over areas we kind of lightly wanted to warm up, I'm gonna go in with much more cool tone of a powder, which we're gonna use. This is like a relic at this point. This is the Anastasia Contour Kit. You can tell she's beat up in light to medium. And we're gonna go in with this shade right here. And we're gonna use more of a precise brush. This is a Laura Mercier blush brush. We're using a more defined brush because this is going to contour much more precise than the bronzer we just used. And the reason I'm doing this with a cool tone is because a warm tone bronzer really is great for kind of just warming up the entire complexion, but a cool tone bronzer is much better for sculpting and creating a shadow. So you can see the difference of this side and that. Much more of a difference of actually creating that depth. We are going to clean this up with a translucent powder, so don't worry about it not being perfect. Next, we're going to move on to blush, which we are taking this Profusion Blush I Palette. I'm going to use the shade Popular. I'm going to go higher on the cheekbone. I like to bring it back into the hairline. Wow, that is beautiful. It definitely helps warming up the face too. It's got such a beautiful kind of sunny reflect to it, but I wanted to do something that would complement a red lip. Now, I like to go a little more heavy-handed with the blush because after this, we're gonna go and put a Hourglass translucent powder on top of everything, which is a glow powder, just to bring a little bit of glow back into the skin. And it almost acts as a veil on top of everything, tones everything down. And that's actually why I went a little heavier with the bronzer and blush. So this is the Hourglass powder I'm taking. It is the Ambient Lighting Powders is the line, and then the specific shade is Diffused Light. So we're taking this on a flat BH Cosmetics brush, dipping in, and just running over the entire face. And this gives such a beautiful sheen back to the skin. And I think it really helps the skin not look powdery because it adds that dewiness back in, and it really marries everything together, especially on the nose contour, and then our contour and blush. Why I like to do that contour and blush before this is because I think adding this on top of everything almost makes those tones look like they're coming from underneath rather than laying on top of the skin. And it just helps blend everything so beautifully. So before we move on, I do want to take a little pinched flat, this is a Laura Mercier brush. I'm going to take a little bit of that translucent powder, the Wet n Wild, and we're just gonna bake and sculpt a little bit because this look is so glam. So we're gonna sharpen up our contour a bit, down the sides of the nose. I inhaled that. Oh my god, it's everywhere. Next, we're moving on to highlighter. We're taking the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter in the shade 10 with our Morphe highlighting brush. And we're going to just run this over our cheekbones. This is such a beautiful natural highlight. If you're just starting out or want something super subtle, this is the way to go. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and finish our under eyes. I'm gonna dip back into body language and run this on our lower lash line. Just gonna buff that edge out to make sure everything is nice and diffused and connected with the top of our eyeshadow. So now with a nice precise eyeshadow brush, this is BH Cosmetics, we're gonna go in, dip back into the palette across the room. We're gonna use that for our inner corner highlight because I don't wanna go too chunky with the inner corner highlight because of the NARS glitter on our eye. Wow, that's beautiful. Now I'm gonna go ahead and fill our brows. This is the e.l.f. Brow Pencil, the Instant Brow Lift in the shade Taupe. Okay, I think that's as good as it's gonna get for the brows. I could fuss over eyebrows for an hour. OCD drives me insane. Yeah, that is working for me. So now we are gonna set them with a little brow gel. This is the NYX Tinted Brow Gel in Espresso. My favorite tinted brow gel. I think it's phenomenal for the price. I like to go over everything with a tinted brow gel because I think ending with our brows can result in the brows being coated with quite a lot of translucent powder, and it kind of just makes them look a little ashy. So I think a good tinted brow gel kind of helps bring a nice rich color back, whatever your natural color may be. Alrighty guys, for lipstick we're going to use the NARS Liquid Lipstick. This is in the color Starwoman. How cute are these minis? Oh, here we go. Does anybody else hold their breath when you do red lips? It's like surgery. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this on camera, to be honest with you, because I'm going to have to get 1 centimeter away from the mirror, so we'll see. I think that's as good as this is gonna get. I'll tell you too, my trick to red lipstick is I always do the red lips and then I take a little bit of the foundation you use on the back of your hand with like the flattest, most precision brush you have and trace your edges. Trace the edges, and that's what gives it that really sharp, clean appearance around the edges. It is a matte lip. I do want to gloss it up a little bit. So I think we're going to take this lip palette I got from, I don't even know where, like some store. I'm sure you can find it online. But I melted down some of my most popular like nudes and reds. I think I wouldn't hate if this was deeper, like darker red. So I'm going to take Diva from MAC. Now that we have our shade, we won't have to worry about being too precise. Yes, that is exactly what I wanted. A good deep blue based red. So before we add a gloss to the lip, I am just gonna set everything. We're gonna use our ColourPop Pretty Fresh Setting Spray with hyaluronic acid. Woo, it smells so good too. And I always like to take the back of my beauty blender, nice and clean, and just press that setting spray into the skin, just to let our powder lay down nice and smooth. So now we're going to take the e.l.f. This is called the 3-in-1 gloss. You can use it for face, eyes, lips. I don't really use it on anything but the lips because I think it kind of makes your makeup crease. But we're going to take a little bit of this on the back of the hand. And that lip brush we just used with our MAC lipstick. Well, it doesn't get more Christmassy than that. Well guys, I think we have arrived at the end of our video. I love the way this turned out. I'm so happy, oh my god, with my Christmas nails. I hope you guys had as much fun watching as I did making this tutorial for you today. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. If you are, go ahead and hit that notification bell to be notified every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time when I post a new video. Follow me on Instagram at Mr. Johnny Ross. Go ahead and give this video a like and comment down below any other holiday looks you would like me to do or products you would like me to try. But I hope you guys have a happy and safe holiday season. I will see you soon. Bye-bye, guys.